know the difference.
On any given Sunday, more Mazdas are road race than any other car. You only have to drive one to understand why. Mazda, it all comes back to.
Just like St. Petersburg 2 weeks ago, Long Beach, California, what a location to host a motor race. And they've been doing it now for 33 years. Weather conditions are good to go racing. It's not too hot, not too cold, and a good breeze to keep the guys cool. Well, while we're in that break, this man here, Luis Diaz for Lowe's Fernandez Racing. Calvin, what did he do?
Well, he did make a bit of a strategy call here by he and the team, of course, in terms of pitting before that 30-minute mark. We talk about maximum a driver can do today is now 10. You back that around as 30 minutes for a driver minimum. So they brought him in early, essentially topped him up with fuel, fresh tires. Now, this means they're going to have to do another pit stop because, of course, they have to get Adrian Fernandez in. That opens up their strategy from this point on. They're going to have less fuel to put it in if they come in with the rest of the field during a caution, and they also have the opportunity, if it goes green, to maybe catch a yellow at some point. So just rolling the dice here a little bit. We expected that with someone who had worse track position than the leaders, of course.
All right, thanks for that, Callum. We'll keep an eye on the Lowe's Fernandez Racing number 15 to see how that strategy plays out. Now, if you're a regular of the American Le Mans Series TV shows, you'll know that we like to throw it round and find some new Cub reporters. We've already had Sasha Masson do some humorous reporting for us so far in 2007. Well, here at Long Beach, who's our new Cub reporter?
Hi, I'm Oliver Gavin. I'm your Cub reporter here on Speed, and we're going to go talk to some of the drivers. This could be the world-famous Dyson Racing debriefs. Now, Andy, as we're in California, I thought I ought to ask you a bit of a Californian thing. Do you like surfing?
I know this is going somewhere and I can't tell where. I just fall off all the time. So.
Do you wax your board?
I wax a few things and the board isn't one of them.
Here, hold on a second. Well, this is one of the questions I had for you, Alan. Now, seeing as you're a little bit... People ask me all the time about my height and how do I get into cars and all this.
How do you?
Well, that's a good question, but I was going to ask you, how do you reach the pedals?
I've got blocks in my feet. Have you not seen my boots?
No, I haven't seen the ones.
Oh, yeah, they're fantastic little blocks in the end of my feet. They're brilliant.
So you might have a system something like my children have got, some sort of baby booster seat.
No, not at all. I don't have a booster seat. Yeah, we do. It's not actually too tricky with Dindo, but certainly with Emanuele and Frankie, my booster seat was about this thick and sort of pushed me right forward. But I get rid of that when I'm actually 21 years old.
Very good. Now, seeing as we're in California, I thought I'd better ask you the question about surfing. Do you have a board, and how big is it?
There's obviously some secondary line to this one because you wouldn't come up with that. I'm not sure if I have a board, and I'm not sure if I should tell you how big it is.
And do you wax?
I've never been known to wax, unlike some of my teammates who do certainly wax.
I would say Emanuele definitely needs to wax.
Yeah, there's no question about it. If not, he's going to get taken to San Diego Zoo in the gorilla enclosure. He's the hairiest man I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah, I'm astonished that he managed to get his race suit on him over all of that fur.
I'm not going to comment any further. I'm going to do a debrief with him later on.
Oh no, Dindo! Dindo, now I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you have a surfboard?
Surfboard? No, never done it.
Have you ever been surfing?
Never.
If you did surf, would you wax?
Would you wax?
Wax, yes.
Why not?
Today we've learned that there are a number of drivers out there that like surfing. Some of them need to wax. Some of them do wax. Some have got big boards. Some have got small boards. But also, my friend here, Johnny, we've been meeting George Lucas.
Yeah, you know, that was definitely the highlight of the weekend. And as a Cub reporter, I can honestly say that the word Cub is appropriate.
So here I am, Oliver Gavin, your Cub reporter of today at Long Beach. Thank you.
Good job. How about you, Dawes? Any surfing out there in Missouri?
No, no surfing for me.
Well, things are a little quiet here trackside at the moment because we are slowly working our way back to green. This is the reason why, if you've just joined us, we're under a full course caution. Tom Milner in the Ray Hall Letterman Porsche out of the race. We'll be back.
This is the Speed Report. Going beyond the highlights to bring you the full story with expert analysis and unrivaled access. From the network the drivers watch. The Speed Report, Sunday night, 7 Eastern, only on Speed.
They're young, they're powerful, they're ready to play. Discover the new face of Audi. Find exceptional values on select Audi models. Visit your local Audi dealer today. Sunday night.
What's on your mind, my friend?
Go ride with Dave.
What is this kid thinking?
Give him a piece of your mind.
That's a bunch of
Only one voice matters. Yours.
the best damn racing show, period.
Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain. Sunday night, 9 Eastern. Live and only on Speed.
Attention drivers statewide. If you are insured with Allstate, Geico, State Farm, or any other car insurer, you may be overpaying by hundreds of dollars. Find out how to get immediate savings through AIG Auto Insurance. What would it take to get you to switch your car insurance? If we told you that you could save $350 a year, wouldn't you pick up the phone? Start dialing, because you could save that much. People who switched from Geico saved around $359. From Allstate, $416. Your savings could be higher, like this driver who switched, or this one. And no other company gives you AIG Security Advantage that helps keep you safe on the road and away from home. Immediate savings available through AIG Auto Insurance. Call for a free rate quote today. Call 1-800-515-6689 for a free rate quote. You could save hundreds of dollars. That number again is 1-800-515-6689. Call now or visit AIGauto.com.
Are you ready to turn your plain Jane cell phone into a souped-up hot rod with custom wallpaper and ringtones? Well, to satisfy your need for speed, log on to speedtv.com for more. We're back at Long Beach, and the time is 30 minutes, 25 seconds into this race. And there's already activity on pit road. Cal?
There is. Timo Bernhard brings the number 7 machine in. And I just do not understand why the rest of the leaders did not pit, Brian. Down at Highcroft, 7 Johansson has brought this Acura-powered machine is. Brabham will take over for him. Mechanics looking at the tires right now. It'll be interesting to find out if they're going to double stint. We'll know here. No, they will not. They're going to go with tires, fuel, and driver, guys. Well, the 6 car is in also, so Penske bringing both of these guys in. We talked about the driver log time. They're not allowed to do more than 1 hour and 10, so they're right in that window. Sasha Mass and Ryan Briscoe going for 2 in a row here. The 7 car didn't take tires. Doesn't look like the 6 car is going to either. Brian? Tyson cars are in. It looks like they did take tires and fuel. It was interesting because they started the race on a different fuel strategy, but they came in together, they lead together.
So the cars up front that did not come in, race leader and P2 leader Dario Franchitti, and neither of the Audis in P1, Dindo Capello or Emanuele Pirro. We will see how that plays out. Here they are, the respective prototype class leaders. Franchitti in the XM Satellite Acura, the overall race leader. And to me, it looked like the lights were out on the safety car. It's green this time round. We're riding with Capello. And Capello dives for pit lane as the green flag flies. Back to racing.
I don't understand that call whatsoever. Now it's under green. He can actually go a lap down now.
1 Audi pits, 1 Audi stays out. Oh, and we've got a crash on track. David Brabham in the Highcroft Acura has spun.
I think he's not hitting anything though, Lee. I think it's just a simple spin and he's got the engine going. He should be able to continue to look for damage. I don't think he hit anything.
So far so good, it looks all right. Big slide, big spin. Out of turn 7, heading into 8. Calvin.
Well, the Audi comes in, and I really don't understand this strategy call at all. This Audi will need tyres. Remember, yesterday in qualifying, they really maxed out the driver time to give both guys a little bit more track time in qualifying. You have to start the race with at least 3 of the tyres that you qualify on here. So right now, they're going to have to change tyres as well. This costs extra time, of course, after the fuel. There's a minimal fuel load, so the driver changes take an X amount of time, and they're just waiting on tyres. They should just stay on the lead lap as Alan McNish goes for his radial contact, trying to plug that in. Dindo didn't help him there. A little bit of a delay. He should stay on the lead lap, guys.
Oh, smokes it up out of the pit box. Here comes Frank Kitty. He's out of the hairpin on Shoreline Drive.
And Alan McNish on cold tires will not be fast. The car will not turn very well for the first lap. Watch here, because Frank Kitty is going to be coming. Here he is.
Keep in mind, these 2 cars have not pitted yet either. Dario Franchitti will hand over to Brian Herder. Emanuele Pirro will hand over to Marco Werner. And this is a good, strong run from Pirro. He's not letting Frank Kitty get away.
No, he's not. I'm quite impressed by that. The question is, how far ahead is McNish, though? There he is up there.
And the other thing is, how will all this shake out up against those 2 Penske Porsches?
Well, I can understand trying, if you're a 2-car team, splitting the cars up, you know, pitting one but not the other. I certainly didn't understand the 1 car coming in so late like that and giving that all up.
Well, they were not sure on the timing there, Dorsey, whether they would make it. I just spoke to Brad Kettler. He said, I'm not sure Penske made the right call. And I said, well, it was 30 minutes and 10 seconds when they had done a driver change, so I think they're good to go. They were also concerned about a long brake pedal that Dindo Capello had, and they found out when they did the wheel change, there was a piece of debris over the brake cooling, so they should have fixed that issue, as Alan McNish now has a battle on his hands to try and keep that R10 diesel undefeated.
And of course, a long brake pedal, what that means is that the brakes are getting hot, or at least that one that was obstructed was getting hot. The fluid was about to boil, or starting to boil, and that brake pedal goes down toward the floor, and that's a long brake pedal.
Look at this. There's McNish, is the first car you see in your shot, but he is trying desperately to stay on the lead lap as Dario Franchitti is hunting him down. But to be clear, this car has pitted. The second car in shot, which is the overall race leader, has not yet pitted. Right here was where we saw car 9 spin David Brabham after taking over from Stefan Johansson. This is what happened to Brabham. Let's take a look.
Oh, look up on top of the screen there. That's the cold tire spin, I think. I just came up there and the car just lost complete grip. Luckily, he did not anything. Watch the onboard here. Yeah, that's cold tires. You see, it just snaps. Loses total grip both ends and around it goes. Lucky for David Brabham. No contact with anything.
First time at Long Beach for David Brabham. One of the guys who has driven at just about every circuit in the world, but never here, as Frank Kitty continues to intensify the pressure, and Pirro looks for an inside line on Dario.
Look at Pirro. I mean, he's putting the heat on now big time, trying to help his teammate not go a lap down.
Terry Borchella is in the 54 Team Transport Bell Racing Porsche and stays out of the way of the prototypes. Nice work, Terry.
That's a section of the racetrack that you can't pass on without a guy like Terry being heads up and letting it happen.
Very strong opening performance from this Acura. The 26 is doing well, Brian.
Yeah, but Dario has his hands full right now. The team really talking to the officials about the number 2 blocking out there. They really felt like they were being held up. They said, look, guys, he's holding up, but Dario, for his team car back there, there's something you guys are going to have to do about this.
Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it? I don't know that he's blocking or holding him up all that much. But if I was the team manager, I would certainly, I would put the heat on him like that. Sure, I would.
Look at this, look at this. The 2 Scotsmen, nose to tail. McNish fighting to stay on the lead lap.
P2 car, lighter, more agile, more nimble. These street circuits, it's what you need.
First time here for Alan McNish.
That Audi with all the torque of the diesel you know, that isn't necessarily what you want on this type of a racetrack. This is a drag race zone with a brake zone at the end of it.
It was a mighty performance on the St. Petersburg street course 2 weeks ago from McNish. His teammate Dindo Capello goes into the record books as the most successful, the winningest, if you like, P1 driver in the history of the American Le Mans Series with 23 P1 victories now. McNish put in a blinding drive there, and the same is asked of him again here in California. To stay on the lead lap, and as Calvin just mentioned, to keep this diesel-powered R10 undefeated. Oh, Frank Kitty ever so close to McNish coming out of the turn 11 hairpin. Now the drag race on Shoreline Drive.
He's up in a good draft area right there. He should be able to get some good top speed for turn 1. Let's watch.
There's the top end difference. As I said at the beginning of the show, the R10 built for high speed, long circuits like Le Mans. That's the objective. So the team, the drivers know they have their hands full on these shorter, tighter street courses.
Lee, Barry Green still pleading his case down here. He watches the monitor, watches the timing monitor, and then goes to the officials. What he just said a minute ago was, look, we were able to run 14s earlier. Now we're in the 15s and 16s. You got to give us a break. Let him get out of the way. We want to go racing.
Well, you might want to give him a break, but that's a ridiculous thing to ask for because there's no blocking going on whatsoever. I mean, Dario might be quicker, but it's not enough quicker to make a pass happen, is it? I mean, there is Alan McNish doing his ever most to get around this racetrack as quickly as he can. There's no blocking. There's been no move, no counter move.
Good stuff, isn't it? Amongst the prototype classes. This is what the American Le Mans Series wanted. The P2 cars, the P1 cars going head to head. And this massive crowd at Long Beach enjoying some stellar sports car racing.
Wednesday night on Speed. First, the series premiere of Setup. Then, back-to-back pinks. Followed by Unique Whips. The action begins with Setup at 8, then pinks at 9, and Unique Whips at 10. Wednesday night on Speed.
It has a 6-liter, 48-valve V12 engine with 510 horsepower. Electronic active roll suspension. Custom leather seats with 6 levels of massage. A voice command navigation system. And it all means nothing. Unless you have the right tires. For drivers who want to get the most out of their cars, it's Bridgestone or nothing.
Fast is violent. Fast is gritty. Fast is explosive. This is the new Fast, the 438 horsepower hybrid. This is the pursuit of perfection.
Discover what the pros know. When it comes to hand tools, only one brand is number one. Klein Tools. For world-class performance. Superior results. For unsurpassed precision, durability, and comfort. You simply can't buy a better hand tool. An American-made tradition of excellence for 150 years. Klein Tools. Pros know the difference.
Fast cars, intense competition, things that bring Americans together. And now there's one more thing that can unite us. Ethanol. It's America's high-performance renewable fuel. Cleaner burning and better for the environment. Using ethanol-enriched fuel reduces harmful tailpipe emissions. Best of all, it reduces our dependence on foreign oil. Look for ethanol-enriched fuel at the pump. If you don't see it, ask your retailer. Ethanol, America's high-performance renewable fuel.
Speed's coverage of the American Le Mans Series is brought to you by the new face of Audi. They're young, powerful, and ready to play. Visit your local Audi dealer today to find one in your size. And by Victory, the new American motorcycle. Find your local dealer at victorymotorcycles.com. Back at Long Beach, and you have missed nothing. Alan McNish still defending from Dario Franchitti, trying to stay on the lead lap. just a car length between these two prototype cars. One on the left of your screen, a P1, the diesel-powered R10 Audi, and then the Acura, the XM Satellite Acura P2 prototype of Dario Franchitti. Brian Herter standing by to take over from the Scotsman. Great battle going on in GT2. Darren Law for the Flying Lizard team is defending from the car we're riding with here. Wolf Hensler, nothing in it. There's the Flying Lizard car up ahead, the red Porsche.
And the prototypes working their way through that battle. Wolf Hensler in the Tapple Racing Porsche. You look at the red one, Flying Lizard, that's Darren Law. That's a great battle. And these prototypes are just making it all the harder on the boys.
Darren Law teamed this weekend with Patrick Long, who is thrilled to be back with the Flying Lizard team. This is his third drive with that organisation. And in fact, out-qualified the sister car.
You know, Lee, right there in the hairpin when the cars are only doing 20 miles per hour, the GT2 cars are actually faster than the prototypes because there's no grip. They actually get through and off that corner better. We've been looking all weekend. It's a very possible thing that a GT2 car could run into the back of a prototype there by mistake.
Cal?
Well, during that caution, we saw the lead Ferrari's pit, but the 44 car did, and Darren Law still behind the wheel. Pat Long, what's the strategy call there?
Well, Cal, we're going to split the strategy up between the 44 and the 45. I believe in my strategist, Eric, next to me, so we're going to see how this turns out. A lot depends on the yellows, but we think Jörg's good to the end, so we hope he keeps the gap he's got on the 62 car right now and come out on top either way with the Porsche Flying Lizard.
Okay, well, a lot of strategy going up and down pit lane here with this different length race. I'm not sure that's the right call. I think the Ferrari is still in the catbird seat, Lee.
At the moment, Jörg Bergmeister has a 13-second lead over Mika Salo. We'll continue to monitor that.
And you know, the downside of splitting up your cars if you're a GT2 car, bringing one in, is if the leader of the race should get between the two cars, which would be probable at that point, and the caution comes out, you could lose a lap on that second place car you've got out there.
And the question that needs to be answered is if indeed another caution flies. Well, one of the GT2 cars in this field that we are thrilled to have in the race that we thought we wouldn't is the Peterson White Lightning Ferrari. Brian has more.
Lee, Michael Peterson standing by with his crew watching the 31 car run. Michael, you know, a lot of people certainly impressed with what the crew did, but I think more people up and down this pit lane impressed with what you did to make sure that this car got here. Tell us a little bit about what it took on the part of you and your family to make sure that your team kept running.
Yeah, basically the guys had to pull a 3-day all-night shift to get this car here, and you know, my hat's off to them. I also have to thank my mother, Mary Peterson, because without her, none of this would be possible. You know, it's just unbelievable hard work, and right now we're not running probably as best as we'd like, but you know, we're just happy to be here. The guys just put in so much hard time and effort, and you know, I'm just excited that the car's running, and we still have a chance for hopefully a podium finish.
Well, an impressive performance by the team for sure, but by this man and his family to make sure that the team was here, guys.
Oh, Chris Dyson has run into trouble at the end of the back straight up into turn 9. No damage done. Engages reverse and then gets going again. Let's take a look at what happened.
Comes up in the brake zone, too deep, no doubt. It just, and he got into the wall with the left side a little bit. Locked up the brakes there, Lee, got into it. It was very, very bumpy right there.
Just glanced the left-hand side of the car into the wall, but Chris gets going again. It was the sister car right behind him with Butch Leitzinger behind the wheel, who had a wonderful warm-up this morning as Alan McNish comes flying through on the inside. Look at this! Pirro on Dario Franchitti and gets him. That was for the overall lead of the race.
It was indeed. Going into turn 1, good setup right there. 3-car flare. Beautiful move by Pirro.
Do you know what? That had been coming for some time because Manueli was sizing him up several laps ago. Just looking, just fading to the inside, and finally he executed it. Let's take another look.
Coming off the bend in the front straight, shoreline drive. A good run going right here.
But it's in the background. Look to the top of your screen.
Us. Yeah, that's right. There's McNish. There's the 3-car pop. You know, that negates all that your guy's holding my guy up theory. All of it does.
Boy, I tell you what, that was close between David Brabham and Manueli Pirro too, wasn't it? So, McNish has remained on the lead lap, and we have had a change for the overall lead of this motor race.
And now they're all boxed up pretty good behind this GT2 battle. That'll get frustrating.
Dario Franchitti needs to get by Chris Dyson here. The drag race.
Wonderful job, man. Keep it up. Really, really good.
Oh, and we've had a change of lead in GT2 as well. Wolf Hensler has finally got by Darren Law.
And this is all the traffic. You're looking at both of the series. The P1 leader and the GT2 leaders are right there in the big snarl.
This race was tipped to be busy, frantic, hectic. Let's show you what happened. The pass for the lead in GT2. Here it is.
Riding Wolf Hensler. You see he's been sitting in this position the whole long trying to get by Darren Law. But watch as these prototypes are about to overtake them, I believe.
This is up Seaside Way.
Yep, here they come. Here come the lead boys overall.
Oh, and he says, thanks. Thanks for helping, Alan. I'll come through on the inside of Darren Law.
Yeah, he read that perfectly, didn't he? He saw it, he let it happen, and he got the lead.
And as you pointed out at the top of the show, Dorsey, that's one of the key overtaking points here on the streets of Long Beach, right here at the end of Seaside Way into Turn 9. What can this man here do? From Scottsdale, Arizona, Darren Law, can he fight back on the German Wolf Hensler? Flying Lizards up against Taffel Racing. Two of the top Porsche teams in the American Le Mans Series. The two Porsche development teams, in fact, going head-to-head, the class of the field. And the PTG Team Panos car sits third with Scott Maxwell.
This Tuesday, Epic Ride trades 2 wheels for 4 with a joyride in the sand. Now that's an epic ride.
It was a great time.
Epic Ride, Glamis Dunes, Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
We knew the 2007 Motor Trend Truck of the Year would be a tough act to follow. So we took the lead instead. Introducing the most powerful heavy duty on the planet, the all-new Silverado HD.
This is our country.
Every so often, something comes along that breaks the rules, defies convention, and challenges the status quo. The time has come. Victory. Bold, modern, custom. The American motorcycle redefined. Victory, the new American motorcycle. Take the Victory Challenge. Test ride a Victory at one of over 350 dealers. Get a limited edition t-shirt. Victory was built on the belief that an American company could design and build the best motorcycles in the world. From our Spirit Lake, Iowa home to more than 350 Victory dealers, that belief holds true today. Experience Victory for yourself. Call 1-866-TEST-RIDE to set up your own test ride. There's a full line of Victory motorcycles waiting to hit the road. Call 1-866-TEST-RIDE today. Victory, the new American motorcycle.
These are only some of the rewards of Hyatt Gold Passport. These are the great new places to earn them. Join now at goldpassport.com.
Go metallic. New molten metal liquid shadow from Revlon. Hot precious metal color. Liquid seduction. Make 'em melt. Molten metal liquid shadow. New only from Revlon.
Speed's coverage of round 3 of the American Le Mans Series. The Grand Prix of Long Beach continues. Lee Diffie, Dorsey Schrader with you here. Calvin Fish and Brian Till on pit road. 4 classes, the one time. That's what the ALMS is all about. And the color codes, they're red for P1, blue for P2, green for GT1, and yellow for GT2. And there has been some wonderful scraps in all 4 of the classes. Even the intra-team battle amongst the two Corvettes is raging strong at the moment. They are 7th and 8th overall at the moment. Ollie Gavin leads Jan Magnussen. That's how it stands with the two Corvette C6Rs. The lead of this motor race, though, is Italian Emanuele Pirro. And just 3 positions behind is the Mazda of Ben Devlin. This has been a testing and trying weekend for these guys. They've had some mechanical, they've had some electrical problems, but they were crossing their fingers for a good run in the race. And Brian, so far it's going good.
It is going well, and Ben Devlin doing a super job right now. You talk about electrical problems. Well, part of that electrical problem was with their traction control, so they disconnected that. He's running without it right now, and they're running well. He's turning times just every bit as fast as Romain Dumas and Sasha Maassen, so you got to give credit to this team. They're growing all the while. They took the first couple of races to develop the motor. They're finally getting able to develop the chassis, and it is paying off right now. Devlin running very, very strong.
We need to keep a close eye on the time, Dorsey, because we're approaching the 51-minute mark. So in 19 minutes, that's where we hit that cutoff period for teams, drivers who have not pitted yet. They must come in there. They cannot do any more than 1 hour and 10 minutes. They must pit and hand over to their co-driver.
Exactly right. If there's not any caution in that next time period you're talking about, all of the cars that have not pitted will be forced to have to pit, have to change the driver at that point in time too, and of course we'll lose this track position if it stays green.
An inspired performance for BK Motorsports and this new Mazda. Action on pit road, and the 3 is in. This is Jan Magnussen.
I look to think that this is just a scheduled deal. They're taking advantage now to make that stop, do their driver change.
Johnny O'Connell standing by. Calvin?
Well, there's fierce competition between the two yellow cars, of course. No competition right now, but they know when they get to Le Mans, there's going to be huge competition. There's talk of 14 to 16 GT1 cars over there, so they need to keep their game sharp, and that's what they're doing here right now. They brought O'Connell in. These guys in the championship points took a major hit in St. Pete by breaking that drive shaft, and now able to get the car back on track, so they're really a long way behind the 4 car in terms of team points, but it doesn't matter. Week in, week out, these boys go hard at it. Fuel is in. Corvette will typically go about an hour, so they're just shy of that with that yellow. And the Michelin tires typically will not double stint on the big GT1 machines. Let's go to Brian.
Problem for the number 22 Pano's entry. Scott Maxwell brought the car in, handed it over to Ross Smith. They're struggling with the right rear tire. Actually, the locking pins after the tire was put on did not pop back out, so they're having to work on this hub. Those locking pins, very, very important. When the wheel nut goes on, they pop out and make sure that that nut cannot come off. But right now, struggling with that right side.
Very valuable teammate, Scott Maxwell, to Ross Smith, who is on a very steep learning curve at the moment, so to have Maxwell in the car with him is a huge asset. Now, we're hearing reports that the 3 car had troubles. And let's talk more about Corvette. Calvin's with the 4.
Well, the 4 car is in, of course. This is where the pit crews can win this race. We're not sure if there's team orders or not. But right now, the 3 car had a flawless stop. I'm not sure if Johnny O had problems when he made his outlap. But right now, driver is being strapped in as pretty much a full fuel load here. 90 litres going into this Corvette. And then, of course, no other servicing can be done other than the driver change whilst refueling is going in. Fueling is done. Car's on its jacks. 4 Michelin tires. These boys are one of the best up and down pit lane. They rehearse it. It's like a ballet here as they try and get the tires on in about 10 to 12 seconds. Great.
And the 4, Beretta and Gavin going for their 3rd consecutive win. Now, the report was that Johnny O'Connell made contact with the wall on his outlap, and just that slight hiccup. Oh, talk about a slight hiccup. Is this
in the hairpin,
or is it McNish?
This is bad. In the hairpin, it's very hard.
Emanuele, stay cool, stay cool.
Wow, it's
stay
Emanuele
cool.
Pirro, the race leader. Not anymore, though. And the instruction from the team, stay cool, stay cool.
Wow, now did they get helped around there? That's what my question is. I mean,
Car is broken.
Car is broken. He's got a rear suspension.
Okay, it looks like a flat right rear. Pit this time, please. Pit this lap.
Just when things were going.
It's more than that. I have no direction. Of course, I try to make it to the pit. Be ready. ASR is not working. ASR is not working. Switch to ASR 1.
Emmanuel, he switched to ASR1. ASR1. You have a flat right rear.
Could be automatic speed control. I'm not sure what ASR.
That's traction control, Dorsey,
control,
on that
yeah.
Audi, and they need that, of course. They maybe try to use the pit lane speed limiter, and if one of the wheels is broken, that may mean that the team is seeing on telemetry he's not staying underneath that 60 kilometers.
And that hands the lead back to Dario Franchitti. Let's take a look at what happened to Pirro, though. That car is not in good shape. Here's the replay.
No, unforced error. I don't think he got hit unless the Porsche there, the GT2. I talked about the fact that a GT2 car could hit a P1 car or P2 because they're quicker. Let's see if he does. Yes, he does. He does. He gets tagged. The Flying Lizard car definitely made contact.
That was Jörg Bergmeister.
It's deceiving, but the little cars, the street cars, are quicker at that hairpin.
Pirro, arm out of the cockpit just to notify his fellow competitors that he is not in racing mode. He is limping back to pit lane. Please take caution.
Oh, now we've got trouble. The carcass has just come apart on the right rear. Watch here. It could take the bodywork completely off the back now. And a spin for one of the panos. That's the hairpin again. Trouble there.
Is it 21 or the 22?
There's Pirro. Look, he's trying to get the pits. Almost run over.
And that was the Lowe's Fernandez Acura.
Now this long, slow pit lane.
Crazy scenes out here over the past couple of laps. Frantic activity, and that's what will be going on down at the Audi Sport North America pit as Manuel Pirro limps back to his box.
Ah, there's the carcass. I said it was coming off.
It's been
off.
shred.
That.
Wow, this is the view from the Lowe's Fernandez Acura. Take a look at this. Talk about a close call. Whoa, whoa.
Well, as you can see, major damage to the right corner of the lead Audi car. Pirro here did a good job of getting it back with minimal damage, but I'm not sure if they're going to have to replace any of the undertray, that Venturi tunnel there effectively on the rear end of this car. These Audis are so strong and so durable. When you do a full lap here with a tire flailing like that, that will cause some damage. So the mechanics will have a look. That main piece of bodywork there behind the wheel looks like it is loose. Trouble on the track, Lee.
Yeah, trouble for the 8, Ben Devlin, and the BK Motorsports Mazda has...
Looks like he's on pit lane, just not running.
No, that's not pit road, Dorse, because there's a street car right behind him.
He must have pulled off then, Lee, up into a safe area. There's 3 or 4 around there.
That's a shame for Ben Devlin. The car was running strong. He had not pitted, so whilst he was running 4th on track, he still needed to pit and hand over to Jamie Bark.
Yeah, he's on pit lane. He is on pit lane. He's up at pit in.
They're on the way down there. They are on the way.
Oh, he's way up high. Okay, there it is. Brian.
I just checked in with the crew. They said we don't really know right now because we don't have communication. He can hear us, we think, but we cannot hear him.
It obviously has no power. There's cars. Oh,
he's saying don't rush. Ben Devlin's saying, he's saying don't come near us, don't help. Now,
well, Werner's back underway, but it was a lengthy pit stop. Effectively, all they did was re-clip on that rear deck. The mechanics believe there's no suspension damage. There was a little bit of carbon fiber that had been disrupted there, so they have to be careful that doesn't get into that rear tire and cut it down again. But one of the IMSA officials was here making sure that this team took care of business. Pirro very frustrated, of course.
Oh, as you can imagine. Now, Dario Franchitti inherits the lead of the race, but I tell you who it's playing into as we take a look at another replay. Watch the last car in the line. It's Jörg Bergmeister. Bang. He has been very fast in that section of the track all weekend long as Bergmeister. He's raced on this circuit before, but he made up a little too much ground there, Dorse.
Yeah, and it caught him off. I've been saying that all weekend. It's just a matter of time before one of these GT cars runs over a P car in that hairpin.
Dario Franchitti may be leading this race, but he's running out of time. He must pit within the next 12 minutes and hand over to Brian Herter. And guess who's waiting to pounce? Romain Dumas. Then the Penske Porsche, they've already completed their swap and their driver change. It's looking good for Penske at the moment. And their cars are running 2 and 3. Reminding you to log on to AmericanLeMans.com for podcasting. Check it out. It features new content and coverage of the ALMS, including previews, track laps, race recaps, plenty more. That's podcasting on AmericanLeMans.com. We need to squeeze in a quick break. More from the streets of Long Beach when we come back. What is going to happen at Andretti Green Racing?
The son-in-law always apprentices with the father.
I stapled my pants. Would you excuse me for a moment?
The Riches, all new, Monday at 10, only on FX.
Hey, head to the side, seat back low. When you see me riding with him in my Chevy ride slow. I'm in my Chevy ride slow.
Nice ride, homie. I'll trade you.
Chevy Impala SS, an American revolution.
Attention drivers statewide. If you are insured with Allstate, Geico, State Farm, or any other car insurer, you may be overpaying by hundreds of dollars. Find out how to get immediate savings through AIG Auto Insurance. What would it take to get you to switch your car insurance? If we told you that you could save $350 a year, wouldn't you pick up the phone? Start dialing, because you could save that much. People who switched from Geico saved around $359. From Allstate, $416. Your savings could be higher, like this driver who switched, or this one. And no other company gives you AIG Security Advantage that helps keep you safe on the road and away from home. Immediate savings available through AIG Auto Insurance. Call for a free rate quote today. Call 1-800-515-6689 for a free rate quote. You could save hundreds of dollars. That number again is 1-800-515-6689. Call now or visit AIGauto.com.
You're watching Sports Cars on Speed, reminding you the Speed Report, as always, at 7 p.m. Eastern on Sunday nights. Go behind the scenes, get the why. If you missed the race, you can find out everything you need to know. The Speed Report, tomorrow night at 7 Eastern. Now this is the Mazda for BK Motorsports being helped down pit road by the team. Ben Devlin back aboard the car, and that's a real shame. They had experienced some engine mapping problems earlier today. There seemed to be an electrical problem, but more major dramas because the guy that Calvin's with was leading the race.
He was explaining to one of the crew members what happened there. Emanuele, you had the lead. What happened down in the hairpin?
One GT3, I think a Pinus, just hit me in the back. You know, the prototype cars are very slow around the hairpin, and he probably misjudged the speed, and it's I don't want to blame, but it's very unfortunate. We were really flying. The car was very good. We did some setup changing of qualifying, which didn't work at all. In the warm-up, the car was very good. We were very confident, and I was passing everybody. I was really, really, really happy, so I'm very sad.